Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I'm back with another review. And today we're taking a look at from the Transformers Studio Series line. This is Autobot wrecker Topspin. Topspin was a character in the live-action film Dark of the Moon, and this was one of the first times in recorded media that I can think of that we actually had the Wreckers, which were a sub team that was created in the comics. And we're starting off in vehicle mode. Basically, the Wreckers were a set of three NASCARs that were heavily armored and weaponized. And as you remember from the movies, they kind of had that stereotypical redneck look. And in fact, the early rumors for the characters were that Jeff Foxworthy, Bill Engvall, and Larry the Cable Guy were actually going to voice them. And in my opinion, if you look at the faces of the Wreckers, there is a slight resemblance to each of them. Like, I believe Topspin in the robot mode, which we'll look at, looks a little bit like Bill Engvall with, some accoutrements. But what ended up happening is they juxtaposed the stereotypical redneck look with this very proper British accents and vernacular, which is kind of interesting since they're Cybertronian, but whatever. Two guns here on the top. These are actually not molded in, but attached. They're permanently attached. They are made of a soft rubber, much like the guns here on the side that come detached in packaging. And yeah, that's really soft plastic. It's just, it's, I understand child safety laws and what have you. But yeah, on both sides, it's the same. I mean, it's kind of funny. On the back of the packaging, there are some QR codes for you to scan. And if you do so, one brings you to the General Motors website, do a little survey, but the second one brings you to the NASCAR kids section, which is kind of interesting since, I don't really think of the live action films as kid films, but since this is a transforming robot, and even though the studio series is meant to gear towards an older audience, it's a toy, so they still consider it a kid's item. But yeah, this nice supercharged engine up front and a very nice shade of blue. I have always I got this. I mean, I went back and forth on getting Topspin, and I ended up getting it just because, well, I hadn't canceled it, and Amazon charged me, and, well, it's blue. But underneath, you can see the robot, as well as some more of its accessories, the little claws. Those actually do help finish out the door panel there, so that's kind of nice. A little spoiler for transformation, it's actually not that bad. It's it's a little, I mean, it's not involved, but it's just like a little panel-y and stuff, and there's a couple neat quirks, but that's about it. So, speaking of the transformation, let's get to it right now. Okay, start the transformation. What I recommend is just coming in and removing the guns here on the side, coming underneath and removing these claw pieces, which are, again, extra accessories that were part of the character's look in the movie. I gotta say, I mean, this is the softest plastic that I've ever handled. Next, what you want to do is come in on the side here and pop out these side panels, bring them back on. There's a double ball joint there. And then what you want to do is pop open this side panel, and there's a tab and a slot. Slot's right here above the wheel. These are on double hinges, and these will peg into place. Just like so. And then I gotta say that the side paneling does peg in quite nicely and helps secure the figure in car mode. Rotate the panels so the numbers are facing what'll be towards the front of robot mode. Next, what you need to do is the front windshield pegs into the front of the car, and getting it in there is kind of tricky. They show you to peg the legs together first, And I can't do it like that. I end up having to like do it individually, then peg the legs together, and that unfortunately leads to maybe a little gappage in the front. And as you saw, I just pulled the leg off first time that happened. Sorry about that, but basically what I did is I separated the legs and were able to detach them. Maybe you can do it better. Who knows? Maybe he's born with it. Maybe it's Maybelline. Oh boy. So what you want to do now is, unfortunately, the legs are a little on the loose side, so it makes this part a little difficult. You want to raise up the front panel of the car there, which was the bumper, and to give you some space, and then you're going to fold the foot down, and that heel tab is going to peg in to that slot right there, and then rotate the wheel around, and there you have the foot done. Come on this side, do the same thing. Oh, that one came up a little easier. Get that foot into the slot, and then rotate it around. There's no ankle pivot, but he does have a natural A stance. Next, what you can do is come around the back here and then pull out this back section. Rotate what was the roof and windshield of the car around. This blue section does not peg in to the black section in any way that I've been able to discover. I mean, it kind of holds, but it is kind of floppy. Again, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe it's not supposed to do it. Maybe it's Maybelline. Made that joke twice in one video. Nice. Come into this shoulder section, bring it out like so. Basically, what you want to do is this section, which will be the arms, you want to pull out so it's facing down, and that center gray section you want angled. And then what you'll do is you'll fold this section up. The black section will friction and peg into place right under the head, securing the backpack. You can bring the robot around, and yeah, in a way, with like a little bit of a mustache, I can say that it's bilingual. But come in the back, bring the arm down and around. Now, if you leave it like this, you'll have a double elbow joint, but really you're supposed to bring that first joint forward so the arms fold flush, and then once that's done, come in, flip the hands out on the side. Do it again here on this side, and just around, and would have been nice to have a little tab. Just there you go. There you go. And there you have Topspin in its robot mode. So what can we do with these pieces? Got a lot of options. Hold the guns in the hand. I think that looks a little bad, especially with the barrels all bent up. So you can peg them into the side here, give them little shoulder cannons, or shoulder somethings. I'm not really sure they're cannons. And what's really nice is if you take a look here on the side of the arm, there is a divot point that matches up with a curved piece here on these claws, which basically fits into the side of the hands quite nicely. And there you have Topspin ready to wreck and roll. And I gotta admit, I kind of dig the look of robot mode. The head, he's got that robo mullet thing, which is kind of funny. I know some people are a little offended, again, stereotypes. I wish that back section with the hood and windshield pegged in better, but the shoulder panels, there is a lot of play there because you do have double ball joints, so you can really go to town, and it looks like there's even some extra guns there, so he's kind of armored up. And then you have the joints here in the arm. The figure looks a little bit on the small side too, like really short legs, but there's your knees, stuff like that. As I mentioned, no foot articulation, but the figure's feet are naturally angled so you can get a good A stance. So, give you a quick 360. I mean, the kibble is accurate to the movie from what I remember and what I've been told, and it really doesn't get in the way. And it's functional. These are canon, so you have some play with it. So I don't think it's that bad. We'll pause, and I'll come back with my final thoughts. Honestly, I go back and forth on Topspin, and I really don't know what to say. Like when I was getting ready to do this review, I was really down because of the soft guns and the soft plastic pieces, and it just ultimately affects the overall look of the figure. I've never been a big movie fan, and let's be honest, the Wreckers were in the film relatively briefly. I mean, they did do some important stuff, and they worked close with Optimus Prime. But I don't know. Reviewing it now, I'm kind of digging it. All the detail with the blue and gunmetal, it's there. So ultimately, I have to say, the decision's going to be up to you. I mean, the guy's going to go on the shelf, but for you fans of off the shelf, I don't think it's going to stay out of packaging long enough to even be featured in the next off the shelf. I'll be surprised that it's not back in its box by the night of this recording, which doesn't necessarily say it's a bad figure. It's just that I have, there's other figures I want to review and have space for and fiddle with. And, it's just, I don't see this as a fiddle figure. Getting it into robot mode, I'm getting it into a vehicle mode, no problem. Getting into a robot mode, again, no problem. But it's very precise steps. There's a little extra effort that has to be used, getting those side panels out, getting those rear, I guess now you can call them ankle pieces, into position. That, it's not like a fiddle toy. I mean, the transformation's intuitive. I did it like once or twice with the instructions. I mean, I did it once with the instructions, did it back without them, and, that was it. I mean, I'm good. So again, it's ultimately up to you. Now, we know Roadbuster, who I don't have and I'm not going to get because apparently there's issues with it staying in vehicle mode, is out. And then Steeljaw, which, no, Steeljaw is the pet of the third Wrecker, whose name escapes me at the moment. That's going to be a Target exclusive because, well, it was a Target NASCAR. And they're not going to do the whole, well, the retail release will not have the Target logo, but the Target exclusive will have it. They're just going to make the figure a Target exclusive. So if you want to get your complete set of Wreckers, you can. And that's the other thing. They're all weaponized, tricked out, which I know was the original Darker Than the Moon Deluxes, was an issue where one of them was, one of them wasn't, and one of them was. So you didn't have that even look. So that's about it. That's all I can really say about Topspin. It's interesting to have this now, an updated movie Topspin, where we are a few years removed from the updated G1 Topspin. But, I'm just rambling. If you like this video, please comment, subscribe, and hit the like button. While I am always just grateful for the views, those extra steps help the YouTube algorithms in getting my videos out into the metaverse. If you really want to support this channel, there's a link in the description to my Patreon. There's a little card over here in the corner. All I ask is $1 a month. No thrills, no tiers, no special rewards. All you're doing is helping me bring content like this to you. Other than that, it's your old pal Chuck for Topspin. We will see you next time.